Good morning. It's a bulletproof coffee kind of day. It's good coffee. It's Tuesday. I am a very peaceful individual. I like to do things that help my community. That tends to provide me with peace. The topic that I've been thinking about last night and this morning is the ability to commit violence. There are those around us who are violent. We have to watch those people very carefully. Then there are those around us who have the potential of violence. Those people are more often than not the watchdogs, the guardians. The potential of violence is not violent. The potential of violence can be violent. It can make you a bad person if you allow it. But your ability to become violent when needed is essential for the well-being of your family and your community. Not because the threat of violence is something that should be contemplated constantly, but the tool of violence should always be something that is accessible to both the common man, common woman, common person, and those not affiliated with the government. That's my libertarian leanings coming out again. I'm 60 years old. Most young people can do me harm in one-on-one violence. That's something that people have to recognize in themselves. I'm not a good fighter. I have never been a good fighter. When I was in the military, I was recognized as not being a good hand-to-hand combat individual. I'm okay with that. We all have our abilities. I had my permanent award of marksmanship. I shot expert. I'm a good shot. At least I was. As you age, your ability to hold things steady diminishes slightly. That being said, there are those who can do that right through their older days, the latter part of their lives. I mean, I'm holding my coffee cup. I don't know if you can see the coffee. There was a time I could hold a coffee cup and it would not move at all. Now I struggle with the steadiness of the hand. It's not what it used to be. But I'm still a pretty good shot. My wife's a better shot. I don't think it's because she's younger than me. I think she just has a better natural ability. It is a tool in life's tool belt that all common people all people of means should maintain. Most days I have a pistol within arm's reach. Most times I'm out of the house, I have a pistol with me. I never want to pull a gun on anybody. I never want to be in that situation. So I avoid those situations because I'm a peaceful man. I want peace in my life. I want peace in my mind and in my heart. I want coffee in my cup. The potential of violence is not violence. It is a tool we can pull on when it is needed to protect ourselves, our family, the innocents around us. That's what the potential of violence is. In America, we have the Second Amendment. There have been many movements to do away with the Second Amendment through legal means or political shenanigans, but when it comes right down to it, the Second Amendment is there to ensure that we have the right to own and bear arms. And without going through the process of removing an amendment, it will probably remain that way. I'm not one of those guys in the world or in this country that owns an arsenal of weapons. I own just the right amount, which some people say is current number of weapons plus one. I just need a home defense weapon, a carry weapon, that's for defense away from the home, and a tyrant weapon. Now, I'm not saying I have 3 weapons because I may have a lot more than that. I'm not saying that I believe that a gun is the only weapon I need. And I certainly am not saying that I am a warrior. I am far from a warrior. I am old. I am out of shape. And there is not enough coffee on the battlefield. But the potential of violence is essential. I've talked about TV shows that have affected how I think about life in the past. One of those TV shows was Kung Fu. And that guy, not the actor, but the character, he was always seeking the peaceful way. Of course, to make the show entertaining, the conflict had to be introduced, and he seldom found the peaceful way. He had to have within his tool belt the potential of violence. This grows as the community grows. We have to recognize the difference between people who are violent and people who have the potential of violence. I want to be recognized as someone who has the potential of violence. Someone who will do what is necessary to take care of his family, the innocents around him, and the community as a whole. I am a Second Amendment advocate. I hope that we never have violence. That's the heart of potential for violence. That is what is at the core of the potential for violence. And that's what separates someone who has the potential for violence and someone who is out looking for violence. A violent person seeks violence. Someone who has the potential for violence but is peaceful seeks peace. It took me a long time to accept that within myself. Recently, I've been very angry at some people, and I've had to let that go. And I let it go. Occasionally, these people crop back up in my life. I have to remain peaceful in my mindfulness and how I look at the world, even when that sort of situation pops up. And I have to recognize within myself that this potential for violence must be kept in check and at bay at all times. Anger is an emotion we all experience. Violence, because of anger, is something we should all avoid. I'm not going to avoid a warm-up. Thinking about upgrading my gimbal. The gimbal is the device that my phone sits on when I make these videos. Right now I have a DJI Osmo 6. It's got a selfie stick built in and all these really fancy follow functions. But thinking about upgrading it, just a second ago you saw that it lost track of me and probably took a picture of my sink full of dishes. When I get done with this, I'll see about remedying that situation. The potential for violence. I've met violent people. I've dealt with violent people. I don't like violence. I abhor violence. We must all maintain the potential for violence. Life throws curves at us. Seems to me they used to call a Smith & Wesson the equalizer, or the great equalizer, something like that. That's what it is. There's a saying when it comes to guns and knives. Someone pulls a gun at you, your chances of survival are greater if you run to the person to disarm them, because a gun barks over here and bites over there. If someone pulls a knife on you, your best form of action is to run away from that individual. Not many people can throw a knife effectively, and once you're out of range of a knife, you're out of range of a knife. So, the saying is, run to a gun, run from a knife. The potential for violence. The potential for violence must be maintained to deal with a violent individual. Got about 5 hours of sleep last night. It was good sleep. Wasn't enough. I'm not as sore as I was yesterday from the flooring adventure of Saturday. So let's see, my old butt spent a good portion of Saturday on my hands and knees flooring our bedroom. I still have the bathroom to go. Sunday, I chilled out most of the day. Monday, back to work. Stretched throughout the day. I have a job that lets me do that. That's nice. Today's Tuesday, and I'm starting to feel like myself again. Unfortunately, I know I got to get back on my hands and knees to do that bathroom and closet. The builder of the house laid linoleum in the bathroom. I hate linoleum. I mean, the ease of install I get. I'm afraid they put glue down. We may end up just tiling right over it. I watched a couple videos on YouTube about how to tile around doors and corners, and it's not nearly as complicated as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to have to use a, what do you call it? A gauge of sorts that has all these pins in it that kind of forms around. A contour gauge. And, nah, don't need a contour gauge. Just need to, I have been told by the wife that the contour gauge now lives here. We won't be taking it back. She's always wanted one, so now she has one. Yes, we both indeed did take the contour gauge and try and do our profiles. I guess you have to do that. It's like picking up a pair of tongs when you're barbecuing. You have to click, 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 click them. If you don't, there's something wrong with you. You find some bubble wrap, you got to pop a couple bubbles minimum. The contour gauge, you got to try and do your profile. But my glutes are starting to feel normal again. I think that had more to do with carrying the tiles up the stairs than it did being on my hands and knees, because I wasn't nearly that sore when I was roofing with my brother. So, but I was sore. I can still feel it today. We have a Theragun, and by the recommendation of a buddy, I used it, and that really, really helps. I'm old. I hope to get a lot older. I've had a good run lately. Had a good attitude. I look back through some of my journaling, and it's been a pretty good time lately. I am trying to pick a topic to talk about every day. I think it's important that we have focus in our lives. And so when I get done with this video, I will try and think of another topic to contemplate during my downtimes today. I have an early day today. I'm going in an hour and a half early to do an extra run for an incredible, quite possibly the best job I've ever had. No, that's not right. This is the best job I've ever had. Doesn't have the best pay, doesn't have the best benefits, but the atmosphere at work is awesome. And that's to me right now in my stage of life, that's everything. I need a good boss with a good attitude. I've got 2 of those. I guess I have really 5. I don't consider, let's see, there's 3 people, 4 people, 5 people that I work with that are in management positions. Some of them may be considered secretarial, but as far as I look at it, they're management positions, and They're in an office or sitting at a desk. And they're all good people. We're all individuals. We all have our off days, but in general, they're all good people. Then I have 2 direct supervisors. And these 2 people are just, they've always treated me very well. They're very respectful of the employees. And that's everything. So today, I covered the topic of the potential for violence and its importance. Using violence unfettered makes you a violent person. Using violence to protect your family, innocence, and your community makes you a watchdog in all the best sense, the best attributes of the term watchdog. There's two parts to that. I'm rambling. Then again, this is Rambling with Joe. Six o'clock in the morning, and I'm sitting here talking to a camera that follows me no matter where I go. We have fairly good lives. I hope you have a good cup of coffee and enjoy some peace, love, dream. Until next time.